Hey guys, welcome back to Shank's Ranks, and I have another review for you today with Jurassic World Dominion 3D Blu-ray, courtesy of Turbine, a company based out of Germany. So, let's get into some tech specs real quick. The movie is rated PG-13. It was released in 2022. It's got a runtime of 2 hours and 26 minutes. For audio, we have an immersive Dolby Atmos mix. For our aspect ratio, it's 2:1, so there will be small black bars on the top and bottom. For ratings, IMDb is giving this 5.6 out of 10, while general audiences are giving this 3.2 out of 5 stars, and Rotten Tomatoes with a low score of 29%. What did I think about the movie? Well, I think the first time I saw it in the movie theater, I liked it a lot more than Fallen Kingdom, but I think my nostalgia had something to do with that. Seeing the old characters, Alan Grant, Ellie, Dr. Malcolm, back on the big screen again, also mingling with the newer cast from the Jurassic World movies, I thought was really cool. And I also liked that a lot of the dinosaurs were shown with actual animatronics instead of CGI. There still was CGI, but just not as much as the previous films, and I thought that was pretty cool. But ultimately, I don't think this movie was as good as I remember it being, because it seems like there were so many different subplots and it couldn't really pick a direction on where to go. It was just all over the place. Not to mention, there were a lot of really cheesy scenes in the movie, and it didn't leave me feeling frightened as some of the other Jurassic World or Park movies did prior to that. I still remember seeing the Spinosaurus coming after Alan Grant in Jurassic Park 3, and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks really cool. I didn't really have too many moments like that in this movie. But anyway, you don't care about that. You want to know about the picture, so let's get into that. Starting with the beginning, with the first few chapters, I already had a basic idea of how the 3D in this film would be, and I have to say I was disappointed. The picture was very flat. It was usually never blurry when I took off my 3D glasses. There's a short clip towards the end of chapter 3 where it shows Owen lassoing this dinosaur, and this is the first bit of modest depth that I see, with Owen pushed back and the rope looking like it's tied to the outer corner of your TV screen. And that's pretty much how it was through most of the movie. Most of the movie, my son said, even felt like it was 2D. So if I'm jumping right into ratings here, I'm gonna give the picture quality on this one 3.9 out of 5 stars. It definitely didn't have the sharpest picture quality that its predecessor, Fallen Kingdom, had, but that's because this movie wasn't shot digitally. It was filmed on 35mm and 65mm, with some shots being shot digitally. Particularly, there's a scene, and I'm sorry I didn't take a clip of this to display for you, but there's a scene where they're in this dark cave where they used to mine the amber for the dino DNA. They shot this digitally for lighting purposes, but then subsequently it was transferred back to film. Now, there's nothing wrong with film. Jurassic Park, the original one, was on film, but that one had a much sharper picture quality than this one did. Ultimately, this one just felt really soft during some scenes, and you know, the tone of the movie was very cool, and with a lot of oversaturation too. So that's why I'm giving this one 3.9 out of 5 stars. Now, for three-dimensional depth, I'm giving this one 2 out of 5 stars. So the picture was just way too flat. There's so many times throughout the movie my son and I would take off our glasses and we'd be like, what are we watching, a 2D movie here? I can probably count on one hand all the scenes that had some decent depth. For three-dimensional pop, I'm giving this one 1 out of 5 stars. So there are a few pop-out scenes scattered throughout the film, starting in chapter 5 when we see Blue and her baby for the first time. Her snout sort of pops out of the screen a little bit, but not too much. Not enough to make you go, oh my god, that's so cool, but enough to validate you buying the disc, I suppose. The other pop-out scenes are exactly like this, but there aren't really too many. For audio, I'm gonna say 3.8 out of 5 stars with this Dolby Atmos mix. I have to say, it's a night and day difference between the Atmos mix and the DTS-X mix that rocked my subwoofer in the last movie. It wasn't bad, but it just wasn't as good. For the most part, dialogue was clear through the center channels, but there were times when I had to turn up the volume a little to hear it better. In chapter 6, we have the overhead channels kick in a little bit with the locusts chasing these kids into the barn, but their presence is mostly heard through the rear surround speakers. In chapter 18, when the crew is being chased by raptors, we occasionally hear some overhead effects, but again, mostly it's in the surround rear speakers. Finally, I think the last time I heard any overhead effects were when Owen and the crew were flying and they get attacked by this flying winged dinosaur, and you hear it overhead, and then there's this explosion and they end up crashing. But that's pretty much all I got, and none of it was comparable to the scene from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom where the volcano explodes and we have all those dinosaurs running past them and we have the overhead effects with the molten rock flying down. Nothing like that. So I was very much disappointed. Like I said, it wasn't bad, and I am grateful that we have a Dolby Atmos mix on this, because so many 3D movies get stuck with just 5.1 or 7.1 DTS. So I am grateful for this. But yeah, it wasn't, I don't think it was demo worthy like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom's audio was. Ultimately, guys, I have to put this one in B tier. Picture quality 3.9, 3D depth 2, 3D pop 1, and the audio 3.8 or 3.9. I mean, to me, it's definitely not a demo-worthy 3D disc. Do I think it's worth getting? I think not by itself, but if you get the bundle, Turbine has a bundle pack where you can get this movie, Minions: The Rise of Gru, and I can't remember the name of the other one. It's advertised as Gangster Gang, but I don't think that's what the movie was actually called here in America. If you flip the cover on the case, it'll have the American version. You can see what it's actually called. But anyway, there are 2 animated movies that come in this bundle, and I know Minions always has great 3D. So I think if you get the combo pack, it's definitely worth it, adding it to your collection, especially if you're a completionist. But buying it by itself, I don't know. I'd probably just opt for the 4K version. I mean, literally, it felt like I was watching a 2D movie throughout most of the movie. It was very annoying. But that's my opinion. I think that's probably the first review I've done where I've given something D tier. If you disagree with me after watching it already in 3D, I'm so sorry, but 3D is subjective, and that's just my opinion for what it's worth. But yeah, I'd love to hear your comments if you've already seen it. If your opinion differed than mine, I'm really interested to hear what you have to say. But thanks again for watching, guys, and if you liked this video, please consider liking or subscribing, and have a wonderful day. Bye.